All right. Hello, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to go through this LeetCode problem called contains duplicates. It's an easy problem, and yeah, I'm going to go through it using the umpire method or my own method, which is like explore and then explore even more, then code, then review. So yeah, I'm gonna do this because I need to practice more. I have an interview in like a month, and I haven't coded in what a week. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, only 5 days. Only 5 days. So I took some breaks, but now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna break my break by doing an easy problem. So let's do it. I'll do it later. Okay. So yeah. So we're gonna start this with the. I'm gonna explore this problem first. So when I explore, I like to read off the problem and then give off like some examples, ask some questions, and then start on the problem. Right. Alright, so I'm going to read the problem a couple times. So given an integer array nums, return true if any value appears at least twice in the array, and return false if every element is distinct. So let me read it again, but this time I'm going to get what the input and output is. So given an integer array nums, so an array of ints nums, and for output, if any value appears at least twice in the array, return false. Oh wait, return true if any value appears at least twice in the array, and return false if every element is distinct. So basically, we're going to return a bool, and then true is when no duplicates. Pretty sure. Oh, if there is dupe, and false if all unique. Right. So I know what the input and output is. Um, so I think it's safe. So I think I can go through some examples. So let's just say that we have our input to be an array of like 1, 2, and 3. Just by looking at it, we can tell that there's no duplicates at all. So that means that all the elements in the list are unique. So we can just return false, right? Let's go to another example. So example 2, let's just say I want a case where returns true, that there's a duplicate. So I'm gonna say you have a list of 1, 1, 2, 3. And just by looking at it, we already know that there's 2 1s, and so that means that this list does contain a duplicate, so we can return true. And then one thing that I would like to ask as a question is like, what if we get an empty list, or or an invalid argument that's not a list? I'm going to assume, since I don't have an interviewer, they would probably say just return nothing or false. Depends on you, right? Because if it's empty, then that means that technically all the elements are unique because there's only 0 elements. So that means that all the elements are unique because there's no elements. So I guess that makes sense in a way, logically. Then another question is, yeah, that's my oh yeah, I think another question is I think that's fine. I think that question's fine. Because I was gonna ask a question like, what if, because we're using Python, right? We can have a string with any types. Like we can have a list of string, um, another list, nums, and float, right? I mean, int and float. But I think it's fine. We don't have to discuss that. So now that we've gone through examples, we know some stuff, like some edge casing and some constraints. Um, what I'm gonna do is um, I'm going to I'm going to get some tools from a toolbox to see what I can use to solve this problem. So I call that the matching phase. And so let me think about something we can use. So for some approaches, we can use the for loop to iterate through the list. We can also use a dictionary to keep track of occurrences of number. And then we can also use we can import counters. That's like a thing that like does the dictionary for you basically. And then we can use the in and not operators with dictionaries. Um, just just to make it clear, I'm going to put this here because it makes sense, right? And so yeah, that's kind of some approaches that I can do. Right, but I think I'm going to use counters because I only use this once for one problem. So I think it's good for me to practice something that's kind of useful and that I haven't used a lot. So I have some more tools in my toolbox that I'm confidently able to use. So now that we've gone through the input and output, we've gone through some examples to understand the problem, and now we have gone through some approaches. Let's actually make a plan for the approach that we have set out to do. Okay. So we're going to do this approach where we're going to import counters. So I guess the first thing to do is import counters from, I forgot what the library is called. From library, and then we get user input of list of ints, and we do that by saying something like user input is equal to list comprehension of input split. We turn that into int, right? And then once we have user input, oh, screw me. Once we have user input, we can send that to another function. But before we do that, let's just say we have the function already made, right? What I want to do is I want to create a counters of user inputs, and then I'm going to somehow we're going to check which check if there's an element. There's a key. There's a key in counters with more than two. And then we can say if true, return true, and then else return false. Right, so something like that. Um, and I think we can say like I forgot how to do that, but yeah, we'll figure that out. So yeah, I think that's the plan. And the next thing to do is decode it. So let me start with that. I'm gonna pass main for now. So main's gonna be our driver code basically, with some examples, and then we're going to create a function called contains duplicate. It's gonna take in the arguments of list or array. No, I'm gonna say nums. Yeah, nums. I'm gonna pass it for now. And then now that we have these functions set up, I'm gonna go through my plan one by one. So first step is to import counters from library. Oh my god, search that up actually, how to import it. It's something like import counters from collections or something like that. Counters from counters library Python. Yeah, it's so from collections import counter. Okay, cool. So the first step, then the second step is to get user input of list of ints. So let's do that. So I can't do the pseudocode for it, but I'm gonna make it in code. So user input is equal to gonna be list, but then that list we're gonna get the input and split that input, and then for that split input. So for element in that split input, we're gonna turn that element into an element in this list, user input and turn that elements into integers, typecast it into integers. So we did that. And before, so we're done with this step. So now, then that, we're going to create a counter of user input. But before that, we need to send it to this function. So I'm going to call. So I'm going to call contains duplicate with the argument of user input. And I know this function is going to return true or false, depending on our, according to our plan. So I'm just going to print out the return value. So now we kind of set this up, the driver code. Let's go ahead into our code, going to our function that solves the problem. So the step is to create a counter of user input. So I'm going to say C is equal to counter. Let's say C is equal to counter nums, right? And then I gotta check if there's a key counter with 2. So I guess I can say like that's gonna be O of n time, but I guess I don't know any other way. Wait, I can search it up. It's fine. How to access elements in counter. Oh wait, I have it right here. Okay, so what I can do from here is maybe I can just say like what is the most common? So I can say most common. And then what does this do? What will it return if I just say um that, you know? So I'm gonna print that out actually. So print most common. And then I'm going to just do the list of 1, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Huh. Okay. So I guess it returns a tuple, a list of tuples. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say I only want one. I want the first common, or maybe is it zero indexed? Let's see. 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it is not zero indexed, it's indexed by 1. So if I give the list of 1, 1, 2, 3, it should return 1 with occurrences of 2. So what I can do is I can say that I want to get the most common, it's a list of tuples, and then I want to get the amount of occurrences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, so this is a list of tuples, so that's 0, which is the first element of the list. And then within that element or the tuple, I want to get the occurrences, so 1, right? So I'm going to get the first element, which is 0, and then I'm going to get the occurrences of the tuple, so that's 2. I mean, so that's 1 when we index it, right? I'm pretty sure, right? Can we index tuples? Oh, we'll see. So I kind of forgot. I'm pretty sure we can. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay. So by that, I can say that we found the most common, right? And the amount of occurrences. So it's basically saying, get the most common and its occurrences. So I'm gonna type that in right now. So get most common in the dictionary, the hash, um, and check amount of occurrences, right? So I can say if the amount of occurrences is more than 2, more than equal to 2, then we can just return. Oh, wait, I can just say instead of if statement, I can say return, um, return, return the most common first one, and then the zero, and then the first element, and then the amount of occurrences is equal to 2. So it would return true if it is more than equal to, and it will return false if it's not equal to, right? If it's less than equal to, oh, or if it's not more than equal to. So this should work. So let me just Okay, it's true. What about another example we did was 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. False. Okay, cool. What if you did with a list with multiple occurrences? So like 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, true. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's good. I think this is okay. But one thing that I don't like is that I'm pretty sure this is O of n time. Is it? Is is counters Python O of n time? Yeah, it's O of n. So it's O of n. So I mean, if you want to optimize it, we can just make a dictionary. So I'm gonna make a function called contains duplicate optimized to contain nums, and then I'm just gonna create a dictionary. So is equal to empty dictionary, and then I'm going to iterate through nums. So for num and nums. So if num not in nums, then we're going to input it in there. So we're going to add num as a key. We're going to give it the value of 1 was 1, right? And then else, if it is, then turn true. But once we're out of this for loop, we're going to return false because if the num is already in nums, then that means there's a duplicate. So that means we just return true that there's a duplicate. But if we go through this for loop and we add all the numbers in nums without hitting this else statement, that means that all the elements have appeared only once in the list. So that means we can just, once we're out of this for loop, return false. So I think that's a better solution, just in case like if there's like 1,000 elements in the list and element 999 and element 1000 are the only ones that have duplicates of each other, then that means oh no, a better example is like because in this counters collection that we have, it only iterates through them one at a time, just inputs everything in there one at a time. But if there was like the first and second elements were the same number, but the size of the list was 1000, that means it would be we would have O of 1000, I guess, because we iterate through 1000 elements. But in this case, with a dictionary, we check at each element if it's unique or not. Then we can say, with that given example that I said that we have 1000 elements and the first two are not unique, then we can stop iterating through the whole list and not go through the 1000 elements. So yeah, this is more optimized. So yeah, I'm gonna try this out. So contain duplicate optimized. It should work. So 1, 1, 2, 3, true. And then 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna try 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's wrong. Oopsie, that's wrong. Oops, I said if num not in, it should be a not in dictionary. Oopsie. My bad. So it should work now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. And then 1, 2, 3, 3. True. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. That's good. Um, yeah, but what if I just enter an empty list? So 1, 2, 3. I mean, just like empty. False. Okay, cool. So that still works. Oh wait, no, it doesn't work. So if I forgot the edge case. So if nums length of nums is equal to 0, then return true. right? There you go, cool. So it works officially. So this is overall a O-van time complexity because we go through every element once. Worst case, right? In the list once. And then for space complexity, we're using O of n as well. Because for every element that there is in the list, we're going to put it in the dictionary, so it makes sense, right? So yeah, this code does work. I'm going to input it in the code, run, cool, accepted, so submit. Cool, very cool. Whoa, someone has a runtime of what? Wait, how do you do this in like 0.68 milliseconds? Is that like RNG or something? I don't know. But yeah, I'm probably figuring it out. But yeah, I'm probably figuring it out. But yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, that's about it for this problem.